Good evening, Design Review Board members, members of the public. The Design Review Board meeting for June 25th, 2026 is now being called to order. The time is 5:01 p.m. Please refrain from talking amongst yourselves during the meeting, and please turn off or put on vibrate all cell phones at this time. For public comments and questions during the meeting, you may call 818-937-8100, or if you are here in person, please fill out a speaker card and give it to Chair Halajian if you have not done so already. City staff will be submitting the questions and comments in real time to the appropriate person. Current DRB agendas and staff reports are available by visiting our website at glendaleca.gov. Records of decisions for all projects will be posted online on the Development Services Division website, and a handout describing the procedures of the meeting, possible board decisions, and DRB appeal is available from staff. Please note that any appeal of a case heard today must be filed within 15 calendar days of the DRB decision date. Meetings are also archived on the city website for viewing anytime at glendaleca.gov/agendas. I'll go ahead and call roll. Board Member Lockreff.
Present.
Board Member Welch.
Present.
Board Member Kaskanian.
Present.
Chair Halajian.
Present.
Board Member Simonian is absent. Reports regarding the posting of the agenda. The agenda for today's meeting, June 25, 2026, regular meeting of the Glendale Design Review Board, was posted on the city's website and on the bulletin board outside of City Hall on June 18th, 2026, last week. We'll move on to the third item on our agenda, which is the approval of the Design Review Board minutes from May 28th. We didn't have a meeting on June 11th. Do I have a motion?
Yeah, I'll move to adopt the minutes.
I second the motion.
Thank you. Motion carries. We'll move on to oral communication. Discussion is limited to items not a part of this agenda. Each speaker is limited to 5 minutes. Design Review Board may question or respond to the speaker, but there will be no debate or decision. Mr. Chair, do we have any card for oral communications for items not on the agenda?
We do not.
Okay, very good. Do we have any board commission member comments?
Go Team USA.
Yes, yes. We don't have any old business on our agenda, so we'll move forward to new business. There are 3 items on the agenda, A, B, and C. The first item, 715 West Kenneth Road, was removed from the agenda from the publishing of the agenda last week. Design review case number 004865-2025 will be continued to a future date to be determined, and the case will be renoticed. So it's not being continued to a date certain. That case will be renoted when it's ready to come back in front of this board. And then in terms of the remaining 2 items, item C, 9143 Chilton Drive, and item B, 1829 Kirkby Road. Chair, is there a desire to reorder the agenda for tonight due to...
Mr. Chair, I'd like to, just to, for the record, I'm not going to be able, I have to recuse myself from 1829 Kirkby Road because I live right across the street from it. So I'm going to ask if it's possible for us to move item C to the first and then move down Kirkby after.
Thank you, Board Member Kaskanian. I don't see any issue moving the agenda and starting with Chilton.
Okay, no problem. And just for the folks that walked in, if you wish to speak on either of the 2 items, please go ahead and fill out a speaker card and get it over to the chair. I will let Ms. Shorty-Premian present the Chilton case.
No.
Thank you.
Okay. Chair Halajian, members of the Design Review Board, and our viewing audience. Good evening. Shoike Premian, the case planner for this project. As mentioned, the project address is 1943 Chilton Drive, case number PDR 005668-2025. I will be making a brief presentation of this project. How come it's not moving? My apologies, we'll continue. I don't know why it's not, my stuff is not coming up. I will begin with the project site, if I may. The subject site is located in the west part of the city in El Miradero neighborhood between Allen and Elm Avenue, as you can see on the location map. The subject site is an interior lot zoned R1 Single Family Residential Zone, floor area District 1. The surrounding properties are also zoned R1 with single family development. You can also see the aerial view of this site specific. The project is proposing to demolish the existing 1,950 square foot fire damaged single family house and the detached garage that was built in 1926. The proposal is to construct a new two-story, 2,248 square foot house with an attached garage or with an attached 798 square foot ADU, and a new two-car detached garage at the rear of the property. The lot size is 7,500 square feet, and this project is exempt under Class 3 new construction for CEQA. Just briefly, in terms of the proposed site plan, the project site is the driveway location remains at the same location with the detached garage at the rear. The house, the project itself complies with front and side setback, and you can see from the drawings in this exhibit that they're also proposing a pool, outdoor seating area, barbecue, and at the top of this slide, it shows that there's also a basement, 432 square foot basement. The light blue area shows the ADU. And of course, just a reminder that local jurisdictions do not have design review authority over ADUs, but this is an attached ADU, just a reminder. And we have the house, which is in light green. And of course, the third image is the second floor as in pink color. A landscape plan was also prepared for the project, which includes low water plant materials. Public Works Urban Forestry noted that the existing city tree within the public right-of-way must be protected. They also noted that there may be an indigenous tree located within the 20 feet of the subject site. We think it's on the neighbor's property to the west. And those should be accurately noted on the plans for future review. And this is basically the elevation drawings. We have the south elevation, which is the front of the house. As you can see, the two-story elevation drawing. We have other elevations as well. The rear elevation is where you can see the ADU on the first floor. And we have the side elevations, one from the east and one from the west. The proposal includes a smooth stucco finish with ledger stone cladding and tile roof. Windows are proposed to be either vinyl or fiberglass encasement, hung and fixed windows. Lighting fixtures are in black metal finish, as you can see in the material board. And these are some of the renderings of the project from different angle. And then finally, staff recommendation. After many reviews, working with the applicant, beginning with pre-application reviews and then design review application, staff is recommending return for redesign, and we have included 10 conditions. Of course, the board has the authority to approve the project, approve with conditions, or return for redesign. I can go over the conditions and the concerns. Number one is the proposed project shall be revised to address the home's mass and scale and design and detailing in compliance with the city's single-family design guidelines, and I have outlined those details in my staff report. Number two, reduce the height of the first floor front facade, which is the south elevation, to minimize the appearance of excess massing and the monumental character of the entry feature. Number three is restudy and reduce the building's mass, scale, and monumentality along the east and west elevations. And number four, we studied the building's roof form and configuration to better address surrounding context, appropriately reinforce the overall building design. In doing so, we considered the central tower element and the spiral staircase access to upper roof deck in order to comply with applicable height requirements and reduce visual massing and privacy impact. Number five, provide details for the existing and proposed perimeter walls and front gate, including but not limited to design, height, material, and color. Number six, the mechanical equipment, including air conditioning and water heater locations, be appropriately located and screened on the site and depicted on the site plan. Number seven, all windows shall be fiberglass framed material instead of vinyl, because on their plan it showed either vinyl or fiberglass, and we're recommending that it would be fiberglass and be recessed, and no internal grids are permitted. Number eight, submit a window detail through the opening showing the window recessed with the wood frame and seal underneath. Label interior versus exterior glass frame, seal, etc. These are some of the details we would like to obtain in future plans. Number nine, reduce the number of lighting fixtures to main entry and patio doors and show this information on the elevation drawings. Minimize light spillover and excessive facade illumination throughout the house. And number 10, which is again a general condition, that the applicant shall comply with any and all city requirements as specified in departmental comments. So that concludes staff presentation. The project applicant or applicant's representative, Edward Ajemian, is present to represent the applicant, actually. And for the record, property owners and occupants within the 500-foot radius were properly notified. Staff received several emails between yesterday and today. Copies of those emails are provided to you and the applicant as well. And this concludes my presentation at this time. Thank you.
Thank you, Mrs. Ephraimian. Any questions to the staff? No. Thank you. At this point, I would like to invite the applicant or the designer or to speak.
Hey, everybody.
Hello. If you can please state your name for the record.
My name is Edward Ajamian. I'm one of the principals at the design firm that designed this project, HBEA. We are representing the clients, the homeowners. A little brief introduction to them is they're a growing family of three. They've been dedicated to their work, their family, and Glendale. They've been a resident in Glendale since childhood. And they want to build a family compound for themselves to grow into it. They have an older son. That's why we were proposing the ADU, so he has his privacy within the family guidelines. As you know, Armenians, we like to stick living with our family growing until old age. But to the project, a little brief introduction to our firm. We have a lot of experience in education and architecture, studied abroad in Rome and Argentina, Graduate School of Design in Harvard, there's Frank Gehry Super Studio here in UCLA, Bachelor's in Architecture. So first thing we do when we design a project is we do a full site analysis, and we take all the neighbors into consideration. In this case, we were unfortunate that the fire burned down and the existing conditions will not allow us to actually rebuild as is due to the fire department being at such close setback to the side where everyone's bedroom egress led to the neighbor's lot almost. In today's standards, we can't do that. In 1929, they were allowed to do that. So every parcel on this block is kind of built that way. So, and due to the fire damage, we had a lot of problems with foundation, so we were forced to demolish the house. Once we demolished the house, then we had to rebuild. They want the two-story home, which is allowed by zoning code, allowed by the design guidelines. So we strictly study the zoning codes and the design guidelines to be able to provide both what you guys require and what the client wants. As you know, our sidewalk and our finished floor is about 10 feet difference from one another. So almost whatever we did, even their existing one-story house was on a platform, which was already on a mass-looking scale, even as a one-story house. So what we did is we gradually stepped everything up. We even added some planters to the front to even break down the mass even more. And the second floor is hidden behind parapet railings versus open railings, which some addresses I can bring out, like 1953 Bellevue, 1900 Chilton, which is on the corner, uses this tactic. But the Bellevue project and the 1925 Kenneth Road, those two projects, they have a second story with just a 5-foot setback, which we have, but an open railing or a roof, which just puts the mass fully into your face. In this case, at an eye perspective, the entire second story is almost covered by the first floor parapet. So if you walk past it, it's gonna feel more of a one-story house than a two-story house, more than if we were just to put railings and break out the mass with open masses rather than closed masses. So the square corner that you see over there is next to a one-story house right next to us, which has a very steep roof exceeding almost the height of our entire structure. And that's a one-story house that feels a little more as massive as our project proposed. The other corner takes a more softer approach with the arched porch and the approach into the house. And the arched, try to keep it very Spanish, contemporary style. Contemporary due to lifestyle requires now, Spanish due to design guidelines of Glendale, and we wanted to keep the characteristics of Glendale. And when we raised the parapets in the front of the house, we continued that language throughout, and we're going to use all that for mechanical space. There is no wraparound balconies throughout the house. Every single side balcony is either fully covered with a wall, which does not allow even the residents inside the house to look over to the neighbor, or vice versa. Or it's set back about 15 feet on the side. The roof deck on top is a roof cave on top. When someone's up there, they're gonna have their two front roofs, their rear back roof, fully covering even their visual to any of their neighbors' homes, including a parapet wall that comes up, and it's more of a roof cave versus a roof deck, which is going to be an observation deck, a platform for all the residents. It's not going to be that. If you open up our roof plan, you'll see how let me open up the roof plan is on sheet A107, yeah. As you can see, there's roofs and parapets blocking the entire view of that roof deck. So people in the roof deck and people as neighbors, they will have zero visual of anybody up there. The only visual they will probably get is people climbing up the spiral staircase going into it, which meets our height requirements. So I'm not sure why that was brought up. All the mechanical is in our basement. So that's where we're getting the basement. And the basement was reduced because we were told that Glendale counts basement as square footage. So we reduced it to just a mechanical room. So it's not it's not a full basement. It's a mechanical room that's under 6 feet. So even the wall that's over here that has the balcony to the master bathroom, that's also blocked off by a full, it's only viewing their own backyard and nothing to the neighbors. So the windows, all the bedroom windows, since all the bedrooms are out top, including the ADU bedroom on the ground level, has very slim frosted windows for all privacy to the neighbors, and every single egress is led through the balconies, either towards the front to the street or to the rear of the lot. So neighbors were number one, not number one, the clients were number one. Neighbors were definitely a high priority in our consideration of designing this house. We have been going back and forth. I'm sorry that it's been a construction site for 3 years, but Glendale wouldn't allow us to demolish this house until we had building permits. And we're working towards building permits. So we even applied for a demolition. We spoke to the inspector, Shant, and tried to get the demo permits. We started the process, then we were shut down. We couldn't get the demo permits until that. So we cleaned up the debris, fenced out the property to make sure it's a safe site. And as much as of an eyesore it is, it's the only way we can keep it. Another thing I would like to point out is that the story polling that you guys see out there, due to the site condition that we have right now, the contractors were not allowed to represent the future house to the way it is due to the burned house, to a hazardous site. So they had to make it a little bigger and offset the story pole to the side a little bit. So by that being said, what you see in the story pole is a little more massive than what the actual house is going to be. And since we were at such small setbacks, we're forced to even bring the house, make it a little skinnier. And we lost a lot of side setback there. We kept 6 feet setback on one side, 9 feet setback on one side on part of the home, 15 feet on the other parts of the home. So we really took the neighbors and everyone into consideration. Another reason why we wanted to create a parapet in the railings on the front balconies, this is a southwest facing balcony. The two front facades is southwest facing. The sun's going to be beating down. It's going to be unpleasant, hot rooms if we do that. So bringing the parapets up brings in the just better indirect light with some direct light versus just beaming light into the entire bedrooms throughout all of summer. So the corner with the arches, we added the roof because that is a walkway going into the porch. We had to provide 10 steps in the landscaping in the front yard, another 7 steps in. And another thing we did to keep the house at a smaller scale is if you look at our floor plan on sheet A104, once you enter the house, once you enter the house, you're at a lower grade than the rest of the house. And what we did, we used that to keep the first level front facade lower than the existing finished floor that we have as an existing house. So we put steps inside the house, so 1.5 foot difference. The client, they have to go to their kitchen, and we take that into consideration to work with the site, to do less grading, to keep the house a little more subtle to the ground and not have it so overwhelmingly bigger than the rest of the homes. The one on the corner of 1900 Chilton, per your intent of the code, we understand that the front facade is set back and it's a one-story, but it's a corner property, and on the side, using side setbacks, it's a solid mass of 2 stories, and I see the intent. It's a nice house. I took it as an inspiration to design this house as well for the community, but as far as the parapets go, but I just wanted to bring it to attention that that was also the part of that straight flat facade, that the 2-story, we don't have it anywhere in the house unless it's set back in the middle of our house, like 15 feet side setbacks on a 50-foot wide lot. So the family sitting here, they're eager to move in and build this house and move in and continue their life. They've been on pause for a long time now. They've barely got to enjoy the house due to unfortunate events, but I would like to finish it off by saying that we met every single zoning code. We took it into consideration. We read your design guidelines. We made sure all the design guidelines were addressed. We went back and forth with Sholik. Some of those items were actually worked on, and the last set that we had sent you had that resolved, but I'm sure the board will be able to read that on the plans. And yeah, if any other questions.
Thank you. Thank you. Any questions? Go ahead, Mr. Board Member Washburn.
So you talked about the finished floor height at the living room being lower. What is that actual finished floor height? I didn't see it referenced in the plans.
Oh, if you look at the existing survey, the finished floor height is 10 feet higher than the sidewalk. So 10 feet, the
Got it.
current house. We are keeping it 1.5 foot lower, so we're at 8 feet, and then the rest 1.5 foot, we're raising it into the middle of the house.
I'm asking for an actual height,
Oh,
because the original, the current house is listed as 751.35 as the
Right.
finished floor height. What's the
The finished floor height now should be at 750.
750,
Right.
okay.
1.5 foot lower than the existing.
Okay, and then it steps up 1.5 foot, you're saying?
Inside the house, yes.
To the kitchen,
Correct.
okay. If I can draw your attention to sheet number A301, I believe it was, with the site sections and the house sections. I'm seeing a reference line for finished floor height in here as 000. But it seems to be positioned higher than any visible floor on section B.
Can you pull it, are you able to pull it up on the screen here?
301.
Yeah. With the 00, we made it as a datum point. If we need to add the survey points as the height, we can definitely do that. But 000 is the 750 mark. That's the porch entry level to the main finished floor, where the formal living and dining is.
Okay, but if I look at section B, section A, it shows a finished floor height which appears to be below the floors that are in the house. So it seems like there's a disconnect here.
Oh, that's the section cut through the middle of the house where we were already raised up 1.5 feet, and that's a grade level on the side. Because our grade gradually goes up as well, so besides,
Well,
Where
okay,
the points start.
then you've lost me here, because the top of the house, top of the parapet is 25 foot 4 inches in both of these sections. And yet, in this place, on section A, you're showing a finished floor height, which appears to be below,
the finished floor is at 0, 0.
yeah, I understand that, but I'm looking at the representation of the house. And the floor appears to be above that, whereas in section B, the floor appears to be below the rear floor height. You follow what I'm saying? They're not lining up. So I'm just a little confused about the actual height.
Oh, I see what you're saying. Yeah, finished floor at 0, 0, rear floor at 106. Yeah, I see that. That should be lower, actually. It was
Right, so-
drafting error, okay.
Okay,
That just
so-
needs to go low, underneath that 106 where the other finished floor is.
Okay, so where you're showing on the section B finished floor, that actually should be below that.
Correct,
Okay, that's what we're missing, okay.
correct. I don't know how that
Okay.
mirrored
Sorry
up.
to clarify that 0, 0 should be at the finish. To clarify, you're saying a finished
0,
floor
0 should be
at the floor?
correct.
Correct, okay, thank you.
At the main entry porch
main
level
entry
finished
floor,
floor.
yes.
Yes.
Okay. And I note in here that you have listed a basement floor level. Based on what you said, it seems like that may be a relic of what a previous plan had been, to have a full basement floor height.
Yeah, we wanted a California basement for easy access, but because it was counting towards square footage and we would exceed with that, we dismissed it to just under 6 feet. So we
And-
can have our water heaters, air conditioning systems, everything.
Presumably
just
that
in
was
there.
why you had a light well and stuff like that for.
Well, we wanted a
its-
full basement initially. Yeah.
Right, but now you.
Not a full basement, just underneath the kitchen,
Mm-hmm.
which it's kind of should be encouraged since people want large homes, but they can't have it. Dig down. Every city that I've dealt with, La Cañada, Burbank, they encourage basements.
And the city
So
of
it caught
LA
me
does
off
not
guard
count
when
that,
Glendale
but
didn't
in Glendale
encourage
they
it.
do, yes, so
Yeah,
it's different.
kind of, and Stairs counting twice. Oh, that's Burbank. Sorry.
Okay, so I'd like to turn now to your concept for the design, the architectural design. So you talked about doing both kind of modern and kind of Spanish. And to use, I mean, those kind of things are kind of inherently in conflict. So how do you, which design sort of language should be used to review this? Should it be more
More
modern?
on the
or
Spanish stuff.
More on the
More
Spanish
Spanish
stuff.
stuff. Modern would be all squares.
Okay.
But the 1900.
Doesn't have to be all squares, but
Sure,
it's, you know,
but
we're.
1900 Chilton is also Spanish contemporary-ish because
Mm-hmm.
there's no pitch roof. It's all flat roof. And it has the Spanish touch to it, like you
Mm-hmm.
would see in Arizona.
Okay. Okay. So you've seen the conditions that staff has put together and their recommendation for a return for redesign. What are your thoughts about all of their conditions that they've asked us to consider?
I think the mass is not, you can't look at an elevation and judge a mass on it. That's why we have a street rendering of the project right at sheet, right at the cover sheet, A000. Where A000 shows a street perspective rendering, one more sheet over. That it shows a street perspective at human eye level on how the parapet railings almost completely block off the second floor, where you just get a glimpse of a second floor, and it's not a big mass in front of you. And the awning, the roof that wraps around, brings the left side down where the driveway is there, because that side seems a lot higher. And then the square parapets with the scuppers coming out from the thing, I feel it's less massive with this. Our intent was to make it less massive by doing this, by bringing the parapets up, by blocking the people's perspective of the second floor while they're walking in front, and creating the privacy and creating a better light barrier for the summer sun during sunset and the hot days. Like I said, it's facing southwest. It's at a little angle. So when it comes to the mass, I've told Shoik this too. I believe the parapets are showing less mass versus if, because we did an open railing rendering on this, and what that did is just threw the second story right into your face when you're looking at the project. As far as, there's a few buildings in construction now that I'm sure went through a design review board just recently that have that first floor, 5-foot setback, second floor, and that is far more massive than kind of like bringing this into the play, where the first floor is the main concentration. So as far as the mass goes, I disagreed with staff. I believe this parapet brings in the less mass. As far as the vinyl goes, that might be just standard. We're not going to use vinyl windows. So please, we're going to use either fiberglass, maybe aluminum, all of them, and set it in. Grids inside. When you guys offer Spanish style, kind of requires grids inside. So that one we'll have to clarify, but that's an easy fix for any kind of review. The roof form configuration, we gave a hip Spanish tile roof, and we broke it into different segments to break down the mass even more on the second floor. So I believe the roof breakup of the roof, as you see in the roof plan as well, we made it into 3 separate roofs, and then the middle roof deck, roof cave, as I'll say, but it breaks up the second floor. And then reduced number of light fixtures. Yeah, we addressed that. The light fixtures have been reduced from our last email to you. I remember we sent you one rendering where we had a lot of lights. That's where that comment came in, but that's been removed. We only have 2 lights and then one at the porch door. Not much there. Mechanical equipment, like I said, it's all in the crawl space basement. Reduce number, submit window details, all windows should be okay. The mechanical, okay, provide details for existing and proposed perimeter.
Is there a basement in the house right now?
Is there a California basement? No, there is not.
Okay. There is a crawl space, though.
It's a raised foundation, yes.
Okay. Do you know how high that crawl space is?
It
Roughly?
should differ because the site, the house does not have any steps inside the house. It's an even step house. And it does go up, so I'm sure at the lowest point is 18 inches, the highest point is probably 3-4 feet. Because there is a gradual slope in the site. Luckily coming down to the street for drainage purposes, but
Did you consider digging the house down a little bit more to make it like a true split level kind of a house, rather than just a 18 inches grade change
this was
inside?
the max we were able to do due to the square footage restrictions we had on because we were only allowed to rebuild 2250 square feet. So 1.5 foot was the most split level we were truly able to give on this. If we did it more, then we were going to eat up too much of the living space, and they do want the ADU in there for their son to when they, to live in there with them. So we wanted to propose an ADU as well. Due to the square footage restrictions, this is the maximum split level we were able to give.
Okay. Other questions?
Go ahead, please, Board Member Latkoff.
Yeah, I have a few questions. One, what is the height of the arches at the front of the house? Do
Of
you
the
have height?
arches? Did you say the arches?
Correct.
Oh, let's see if the elevations will show that. They're at 10 feet.
To the top of the arch,
The top of the arch, maybe 11 feet.
right,
The door is 10 feet tall.
okay. And in the living room, the more sunken area, what is the ceiling height?
The ceiling height is under 12 feet. It's 11 and a half feet.
11 and a half
Yes.
feet. Okay. And you mentioned something about the roof deck that I didn't quite understand. Something about a wall going up so that you couldn't see. It looks like a standard parapet height.
Yeah, instead of giving railings, we continued the parapets up to make it into a roof
Right.
cave, like I said, to create privacy
Right,
for the neighbors and for the homeowners.
right. But the parapet's just a standard guardrail height, correct? It doesn't go.
No,
looks
it
like
goes
it's-
higher than the guardrail height. It goes up to like 5 feet, I believe. We made it a little taller than railing height.
It looks like 3.6 on the section. That's
Oh,
where,
yeah,
that's
yeah,
where.
I'm sorry,
right.
42 inches, yes.
Yeah. And the other question I had just in general is I'm facing with my house that's Spanish style is where did you plan to put the solar panels?
Well, we have,
Just on the tile roof, or I didn't know if that was part of this plan. I didn't see it.
we have the rear master bedroom roof that faces southwest. We have 2 areas over there we can put it. And the eastern on the bedroom. We have, if you go to open up A107, the roof plan. And we also have the garage to work with if we have to add more solar panels, but
Okay.
by the time I feel we get to the solar panel, the construction of it, we'll have much more powerful panels to accommodate the electricity with less panels.
Okay. And I had similar questions to my colleague, and I think that's it for now. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member. Board Member Cascan, no questions. I have a question. You mentioned in your statement that due to the field constraints, the story poles are now placed more offset.
Yeah.
How much more?
I would say about 6 inches to a foot more than on each side because they couldn't attach it to the building due to unsafe conditions, so they had to attach it a little wider than it really is.
Okay.
The height's correct.
Sure.
The width
sure. I
is
was
not.
just worried
Yeah.
about then regarding this wall here, is there an access through the master bathroom
It's a small little master bathroom balcony
balcony?
that's covered by that wall to the neighbor, which just gives the perspective to.
The master bedroom has 2 balconies, one
Right.
on the facing the pool area, one facing the
As shown on the
is that west elevation? Yeah.
A105.
Yeah. Okay. Okay.
So there's a total of 4 balconies on the second floor. Well,
Correct.
including like the roof deck, which would not like a balcony, but we have one on the west side, the east side, and then the front, which would be the largest. Yep. Is that what
The
like
front
that?
is not the largest. The master bedroom, kind of like a roof terrace, is the largest, where their balcony to the back. But even that has the wall, privacy wall that continues with the house line to block off to the neighbors. I mean, every 2-story house can use a window same way as a balcony if they're really interested in peeping into the neighbor's lot. So in our case, we really try to restrict all kind of privacy with slim windows on the sides, privacy walls on the balcony, every balcony facing either the front or the side, and no wraparound balconies. The middle terrace that they have in the second floor with the family, that's insetted more than 15 feet. So no one's gonna see, or their neighbors, they're trying to grow here in this household. They're trying to build their forever home here. So
When you say wall on the side, you don't mean a tall wall. You're talking about a wall that's at railing height. Like on the balcony at the master bedroom facing the neighboring property? That does not exceed
It
the
seems
42 inches.
It seems in the rendering it seems higher than the 42 because if this is railing is 42 minimum, that wall is
Well, that's on the master bathroom side. I'm talking about on the other side.
other
of the-
side, yeah.
Where the bigger one is.
Mhm.
You see
Yeah,
there's
it's a 3.5. It's a parapet.
It's 3.5, okay,
parapet
so
wall,
it's just a.
But since it's a wide balcony,
Mhm.
you would really need to be at the edge of that balcony for anyone to even see or you see there. The parapet really creates a lot of more privacy to the neighbors than just railing. So those considerations were really thought about where we put railings and where we put walls as railings, for of course privacy reasons.
Have you considered eliminating that outdoor from the master bathroom? I'm trying to understand what's purpose it's serving, because you have a pretty high wall, and you're adding a pretty large scale size wall to cover or to provide privacy to your neighbors. I mean, you already have a very large balcony, a pretty wide balcony on the master bedroom, I'm
That
sorry.
wall really ties things together and creates the privacy we want in a soft way. We did add the scuppers to it to break it up a little bit. As you can see the holes on it.
Mhm.
But and it goes a little higher than usual standard railings, so.
It does. So I guess,
Because it's a bathroom,
yeah.
I really wanted I wanted to give them in their master bathroom a more of a spa feeling where they can have an outdoor breathing area from the bathroom, from. So,
Okay.
in order to execute that, that tall wall, and then just building a big square tall wall over there really didn't. So we took a softer curve and connected the ADU to the backyard as well, incorporating a true family compound.
And then, real quick.
Sure. Go ahead,
Chair,
Board Member.
So like there was the first picture there on the cover photo. I just wanted to, because you stated that the lights, there was an updated rendering with like the lights. So are those that we see right here not updated? Those are not the updated ones?
Well,
Or is this the updated rendering with the lights you're referring to?
rendering.
So it was more
There was
than
more.
with this? Okay.
Yeah.
Mr. Chair, can I ask one more follow-up question?
Of course, go ahead.
Regarding the scuppers, so you have what appear to be a lot of scuppers. Are those just,
It's a design feature to
okay,
create.
so there's probably only just maybe one or two actual scuppers. The rest are just for design purposes, or
Why? Just
There-
it'll be a drainage.
they're actually all scuppers?
Yeah.
Okay. And the material for those would be just some kind of a
It'll be a
metal
flashing.
metal flashing thing?
Yeah, same color as the roof,
Mhm.
so metal flashing, correct.
Okay.
Like a brass or dark.
Does the attached ADU have its own entry and exit?
Yes, it's from the side of the kitchen on the right, when you're
The-
looking at the house from the front.
Okay.
It has its own little shareable side yard as well with the
So
formal.
if I'm looking at 104, A104, it's this, right? It's this entrance? I'm sorry.
No.
Above? Oh, there, I got it, okay. Thank you. Okay. Any other questions? Thank you. Thank you. Appreciate it. All right, I would like to invite a neighbor, Suren Amadalian. Yeah. Please state your name for the record, and you have 5 minutes.
Sure. My name is Suran Ahmadian, resident on Chilton Drive, 1947. Just immediate neighbor to the west side of their property. And my concern is that we live in a neighborhood that peaceful neighborhood that we have, and we are good with all neighbors. And despite of living over 3.5 years with this burned house, that every single day that we wake up and open up our door and windows, so we see this burned house. So we understand that it takes time to come and do their work, basically. But now I have a feeling that it's something else is rising up, that it's going to be worse. So our morning light going to be disappear when they build up this massive house. And second of all, it's going to be like closing our view basically to the side, and the big huge wall that they're building as a I really don't understand what that wall is going to do over there, that I have to face with it every single day from day one that they're gonna build it up. So and privacy that rooftop deck that they're gonna build it up, and all these windows that it's facing to our property. What would happen to all these things that's gonna happen to us? And in the future, if I decided to sell just because of that and leave, who's gonna purchase my house, basically, because of this massive house gonna be next to us, and we are only like few feet away. It's not like we are few properties away. So I want to get some answers about this question, and they talk about their privacy, but they didn't talk about our privacy. So they're building a house that it's going to be pretty large, and it's not matching with any of our neighbors' houses that it's surrounding us, basically. I want to get some answer, and I have a concern about it, and I'm opposing this to be built, this huge, massive house right next to my property, that I'm going to lose all my privacies, and of course, morning lights that I'm concerning, and not saying, again, facing to this big, huge wall every single day. It's not like a temporary thing that you're going to say, well, I was thinking it's a temporary thing, that the house got burned, so eventually they're going to build it up and they're going to move back in and live in there. But now, then what? Then how long do I have to wait until that wall comes down? I mean, those are the concerns that I have, and of course, hopefully, you will put some attention onto this design, so that it's going to be on the favor of everybody. Even I talk to my neighbors, nobody's happy about it, to build this massive house in our neighborhood, and so on and so forth. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Next speaker card that I have, Teni Amadalian. If you can please state your name.
Yeah,
Thank you.
good evening. My name is Teni Amadian. I'm Suran's daughter. We are the westwardly neighbors. I think a really large issue for us is, like my father said, privacy, and also our morning sun, because we are on the west side. We get our morning sun, and our kitchen is directly onto where our driveway is. So our kitchen is there. We eat breakfast there every morning, have been for 20 some odd years. And we always open our windows in the morning time. So we would be losing that morning sun. I know in the design review staff report on page 4, there was a concern about the tower-like element. So I have it quoted. I don't know if you guys want me to quote it. But I think that's a big issue for us as well, because of the way and the nature of how our properties are adjacent to one another. We do fear that sort of rooftop-like element is going to look directly into our property, because I also have photos of it in my phone. I have no problem showing you guys that the way that we walk into our backyard, there's no possible way you can be that high up and look into our backyard property with the detached garage. So Like my father said, privacy is a huge concern for us, as well as the Morning Sun. And I know that Glendale Code of Ordinances, I think it's Chapter 30.47, directly goes against this for privacy and sunlight issues, which I think this project definitely poses to have. It was previously discussed that this has been quote unquote a construction site for 3.5 years. It hasn't been. This has been a toxic waste of a property for 3.5 years that this entire neighborhood has had to deal with. We've been dealing with possible lead. There was obviously the smoke component of it, and it was left in debris for until about 6 months ago, until things started to move. Our entire street was obviously concerned about that. That's a huge concern. And I'm confident that if there was some sort of a rebuild that matched the actual aesthetic and the zoning requirements met, I'm sure the city of Glendale would have given the demo permits at the time, and this could have been behind us. But I think at this point, on our block, we're all upset about 3.5 years of toxic waste just sitting there, and now at this point, it's becoming this huge project that is really not even going to aesthetically match the neighborhood. So with that reason, and I know there's all of the corrections that that were proposed, our family, we concur with what's been suggested. Thank you.
Thank you. Next speaker, Azad Hovhannisyan.
Good evening. My name is Azad Hovhannisyan, and me and my wife, we own 1951 Chilton Drive, which is not the next house, the house right next to that. So this people bought this property, I don't know, 10 years ago or whatever. I live in Chilton Drive for 30 years now. We work very hard to wait it till it comes for us to retire and enjoy our house and our backyard and stuff. But eventually, 3-4 years ago, these people, their house burned. Luckily, our houses didn't get burned. Now, what that blow for us that time, dealing with the trash and animals and all kind of stuff. Now they're willing to building their new house again, but they're building for themselves. They don't care about us. They don't care about things. Before I came to here, I stood back of my house, front of my garage. It's basically what you see is my house is right there and their house is right there. There's no way that you could stand on top of this and without seeing anything. We don't have no privacy whatsoever. My wife still dries our clothes in our backyard. And if you get out of that second story balcony or whatever they're saying, oh, they're going to see only the pool. No, that's baloney. You'll see everything. If I see it from my house, that second story, everybody can see that our clothes, whatever she hangs, or the grandkids we have in our backyard, or if we're going to enjoy our retirement life in that house, it's not going to happen. And if you're driving from north to south or whatever, there is not a single house looks like this. It's a massive, huge house. And our houses look like a trashy old house. And I know they want to build something new, but be reasonable for other neighbors, and why you want to build a 2-story house with the balconies? Obviously, you want to see something. That's what I see. If you don't want to see anything, then you don't have no balconies or you don't want no windows. And plus, you're building a high 20-some feet wall on a thing. Plus, the guy, he owns a plumbing business. He drives a 30-foot truck, and there's a fire hydrant. I'm a handicapped guy, and he parks in front of our house. And now EDU on top of that is not parking for us at all. So they could say whatever they want, but if you look at it, it's basic example is right there. That's their house, and this is my house right here. no privacy, not. And plus, if they're going to have that kind of balcony and stuff, there's going to be parties. There's going to be kids and all over, and they got railing 4 feet high or 48 inches high. I don't think so. It's a noise and thing. It'll be. We're that age. We want to enjoy our retirement in our houses. We don't want to move. I live in that street for 30 years now. And I don't care. They have to build their house, but they didn't build. Until now, it was a one-story. None of the neighbors had any complaints or any viewing or anything to see. Everybody was happy. Let them build their one-story house however they want. Thank you.
Thank you. Last card that I have regarding this project is Marty Pike.
My name is Marty Pike. The property, I live at 1939. I live on the east side of the house. My family has owned this property for over 80 years. My grandparents bought it in the 40s. And I have lived there for 45 years, by far, I think, anybody on the block. I totally agree with the previous speakers. My thought has been, if you want a bigger house, the people on the other side of me are moving. They're adjusting a new house to, they're working on it to fit their needs. It needed some renovation, but they bought a new house. They did not tear down their house and build a much larger house. If they want a larger house, then they can move somewhere else. But my biggest concern, I have a really strong concern, and I think this is just a design thing, that if you notice on my side, the east side, the hedge that goes along the property line, which I presume is the property line. When I drive my car up my driveway, I literally miss the side mirror misses the chimney by that much. And when I open the door to get out of my car, I'm actually on their property. There's no way, if that fence is there, that I can get out of my car. I bought a Ford Transit Connect passenger wagon because it is the only car that would suit my needs, that's narrow enough to get up the driveway, and it's big enough that I can have a lift in it to, it's tall and long, enough that I can get a lift in it to use my scooter. If that side is blocked off, there is no way I can use my driveway. In fact, the story poles had a wire down, and the gardeners had to remove it because they couldn't get their equipment in the backyard. We couldn't get the trash cans up in the back. And so, and I understood from from a previous owner that I have easement rights on that little strip of land because it is so narrow. And that if I lose that, it's totally useless for me. And I would have to park on the driveway or on the street, and the driveway is too steep. It's even too steep that I cannot drive my scooter up it. It's you know, there's a there's a ramp slope for accessibility vehicles. And it's much too steep for that. It's very hard for me to get up and down that step, so that slope. So that is my biggest concern, but I do have very serious concerns also about the privacy and blocking my western sun in the evenings. So yeah, that's my concerns.
Thank you. Is this regarding this project? Yes, okay. Well, you're next, because I don't have any other cards. So, if you can please state your name.
Yes, my name is Irene Damarian, and I'm the homeowner at 1943. A lot of the thoughts that I had, Edward already expressed them, but I just wanted to stand up here and say that we always loved our neighbors, we always enjoyed them and really supported each other. I didn't really think of this as a way to spite them or to have any sort of privacy issues or anything like that. It was more because we were forced to narrow the house. The way that it was built before, the code, it's not permissible anymore, and so we were just forced to go up. And we tried everything we could to make it look smaller from the outside and to not, impede on other people's and to make it in line with the street, the way that the other houses were. And there are several homes that are 2 stories on that street as well. And we even have one in our backyard that, is pretty massive, I would say. But the purpose for me is just to say, nobody's really thinking of it from our perspective either. This was a huge tragedy for my family. We lost a lot. We lost everything we had, and nobody seems to care. Nobody asked how we were doing, But the point is, it took 3.5 years for us to be standing here today. 3.5 years, and they're talking about the eyesore for them. That's our stuff. That's our home. That's where my children have been moving from one house to another, trying to make a life for themselves, and we've been trying to create as much stability and normalcy as we could, but there's a chunk of their childhood that isn't ever going to be right, and there's no words to express that. And we had to start from scratch. So it's just, we did not obviously do this on purpose. We were forced into this position, and this is the best that we could do to preserve the square footage that we originally had. It's not, besides the ADU, which was permissible, it's not adding any square footage, and that's all I was going to say. But it's not, no hard feelings to any of our neighbors. We really thought this was a really nice neighborhood, and we loved them, and so I just want them to know that it's not anything against them, but all we wanted was to move into our house. And thank you.
Thank you, Irene. Do we have any callers?
Yes, we have 2 callers, Mr. Chair. Let me- Hello, good afternoon. Hello, can you hear me? Or on air? Hello, can you hear me?
Yes, I can.
Yes, you're with our design review board.
Yes.
You have 5 minutes.
Yes, so I'm one of the neighbors, a couple houses down. My name's Alan. I am against this project 100%, and there's a couple of reasons for it. Let's not kid ourselves. This is a private issue. There's 4 balconies. There's a rooftop. Anybody who stands on that rooftop, anybody stands on that balcony can see all around basically the backyards, the windows. They can overlook every single thing around them. This rooftop has a 360-degree view. They can see the whole neighborhood. So I believe it's a huge privacy issue. So that's number one. My second issue, this is a 2-story house, I understand. The second floor is sitting directly on top of the first. There's no setback. There's no recess on the top floor. The home appears massive. When you walk in front, you'll see a huge structure. There will be a structure on the left side. There will be a structure on the right side. There's no setback. Visually, this house is dominant compared to other homes. So basically, this is out of character for this street. Chilton is a very nice street. So I'm completely against this project. What I asked the design review board to do to reject it, I asked to remove all the balconies, remove all the rooftop decks. We need privacy, and also we need to get. I would rather have a single-family house, but at least have a setback on the second floor. And that's all I have to say.
Thank you. Ms. Shake?
Yeah, this is Shake.
Yes.
I'm living in 1943, two house towards east of the subject project, and I do agree with Alan 100% about the balconies, about the rooftop, and also about the setback. We have some second floor, two-story buildings in our street, but none of them have like the street frontage is not second floor. So all of them are set back. So that's what my concern is, and I agree with Alan basically about balconies, about rooftops, about the privacy, all this stuff. That's all.
Thank you.
Thank you. You have the opportunity as an applicant and an owner to rebuttal and address some of the concerns. It's up to you if you'd like to address it. Yeah. And if you can please state your name one more time for the record. Thank you.
My name is Edward. It's not our first time going through design review board. We're allowed to do a two-story house per zoning code. We are very considerate where we put our balconies and our windows. We kept it very minimal. We kept it very private. The homeowners have been very patient. Maybe if we give a video walkthrough of the site, maybe they'll have a better understanding of how the mass works, but there's many setbacks to the sides of the second floor. The entire backyard is set back to the side. Maybe it feels they don't understand the setbacks because the first floor is taken up a little higher. So instead of creating a first floor and putting a roof, we brought it up and created a box, a hollow box, maybe on the section you will see that. Let me walk to it. This is set back from here.
Unfortunately, because this is televised and the public has to.
It seems like it's a continuous wall, but it's not. It's set back.
1 second. Is there a way we can share the laser with Edward?
Oh,
Thank you.
that's great.
Yeah.
So the entire second floor here, this part, so the first floor wall is here. Second floor wall is about 6 foot setback over here. Every single second floor is set back from the side. This is a one-story, but they might feel like it's a mess, but this one-story here protects the visual and mass of the actual structure, making it more of a one-story house from a front perspective. So all the neighbors were taken into consideration. The neighbors here are here to grow, the homeowners here are here to grow with the neighbors. Neighbors are like family. You can't choose them, you're forced them. So therefore, you all have to get along. No one's here to build a house to stare into other people's properties. We're allowed a second story. We're allowed windows on a bedroom. We're forced to have bedrooms to windows to bedrooms. In our project, our tiny little slim windows right over here, you see, our tiny little slim windows here, they're just for some light to the homeowners, but their egress, as the fire department and building code requires, is all through patio doors leading to the front of the property or the rear of the property. Just want to make that clear. No one's here to pick a fight with neighbors. No one's here to try to peep into their property. That could be done in many other ways, but not in this way. It's a house that suits this family, that they want to live for the next 30 years as well, maybe even longer. So I would like to end the thing with that. Thank you very much.
Thank you. So at this point, I would like to close the public hearing portion and move into the deliberation. Does anybody would like to start? Yes.
I believe there's one
One
other
additional
caller.
caller? Let's go ahead.
You
then.
would like to?
Yes, please. Let's hear. Let's hear.
Hello, this is Design Review Board meeting.
Hello.
Can you hear us?
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, go ahead.
Thank you. My name is Christina Zastro, and I live at 1925 Chilton Drive. I was actually the real estate agent that represented the previous owner on this home when the current owners purchased it in 2020. I would like to point something out that I think is very important here. The house next door to me at 1921 Chilton Drive is also a proposed two-story home with a completely different scale than this monstrosity at 1943. I believe that they have gone through the design review process. I've been in touch with the owner. He currently leases the property out. It is right next door to me, and it does not obstruct the privacy at all compared to this house at 1943 proposal. So I don't think that the neighbors, me included, who oppose this project are being unreasonable. We've just been through a very similar thing on this exact same block with another proposed two-story home. This home is huge compared to the proposal next door to me. And, I understand that the 3 years we've lived through and all of that stuff isn't really the point here. But it has been really hard on the neighborhood to have to look at this home and see this home all because somebody was negligent and left their Christmas lights on and went out of town for the weekend, and the tree started a fire and the house burned down. So we've been pretty understanding and patient, and of course thankful that nobody got hurt. But this is not something any of us want to see, and it doesn't mean that it's impossible or that there isn't something that we could all come up with and agree upon, as happened next to me at 1921 Chilton. That's really all I wanted to say. I don't think any of us are being unreasonable. I know my neighbor next door didn't have anything like this type of opposition when he proposed the new build that's going just a few houses away from 1943. Thank you.
Mr. Chair, the former caller is also calling back.
At this point, we gave them the opportunity to be heard. So, no. So, we received, in addition, just for the record, we received 6 emails, and the staff shared it with us, and each of us got a copy of these emails. So, with that, I would like to go ahead and close the public portion of the hearing and move into deliberation. So, does anybody would like to go ahead first? Board Member Lacroix, let's go.
Well, first, I want to say I'm sorry about losing your home, and I'm sorry to the neighbors. This is a hard situation for everyone involved, and I appreciate all the public comment and the comment from the owner and also from staff. I think it's significant that the community, despite really wanting this to improve, is in opposition to the new building, and unfortunately, staff has laid out very, very good conditions, which clearly identify problems with not meeting the Glendale design guidelines, and that's what we're here to evaluate. I would say that as a board, we're not opposed at all to two-story homes. We, or in some conditions, balconies when they're thoughtful about where they're located. And also, I think for the size of the house too, it feels quite massive, even though I actually don't think we've seen much larger houses that have somehow been broken apart to not feel as large. And I do think there are ways that you can address this design-wise. For instance, as I was getting to when I asked how big are those arches at the front, they're quite tall. I mean, and the front is very, I mean, even just the ceiling height and alone on the 11.5 feet ceiling height on the first, I think that reduction can help a lot. And also the removal of that one wall in front of the bathroom, I think that would help, just adding mass to this structure that's unnecessary. So I do think there are several elements, and I think that staff has laid out very good conditions on how to address those items. Because unfortunately, I agree that the mass appears even larger than the square footage size that it utilizes. So, but I'd love to hear what my colleagues think.
Thank you, Board Member Lacroix. Board Member Welsh, would you like to go next?
Thank you, Mr. Chair, and thank you, everybody, for coming out and speaking on the item. I concur it is a tough situation, and I do feel sorry for the family that they've had to suffer through this, and I want us to do as best we can to get you an approval as soon as possible. But as Board Member Lockeroff said, you know, we're charged with following and enforcing the city's design guidelines. And this design does not necessarily comport with those in a few ways, which we'll be talking about here. First of all, I concur a second floor addition is not an unforgivable thing. We prove them all the time. But in a neighborhood like this, where it is predominantly one-story homes, we do like to make sure that they recess, you know, and set back the second floor, usually more than code may require, because it is a neighborhood context issue. I'll cite, for example, 2 homes that are directly across the street from the house. I visited the site, I saw the story poles, and I understand what you're talking about in terms of them being a little bit larger, but it's still a very obvious that this one is designed in a way that it is, because it is on the uphill side and because the second floor is much closer to the front. You know, you have set it back, but not by the same as the houses across the street. Those are set back more like 20 feet, something like that, so that when you're standing in front of the house, which I did, I only see one story. I know the second story is back there, and I see it at, you know, at the corners of the property when I'm looking at them, but you can't really see that from the street. And that would be what we'd like to try and see here as well. So for anyone who's sitting on the street, standing on the street, looking at the house, all they see is a one-story mass, and the second-story massing is all pushed towards the back. And I think you have plenty of opportunities to do that. You have this huge covered patio and lots of hallway space on the second floor. You could easily push these bedrooms that are in the front way further back to accomplish that objective. And I concur with a lot of the speakers here that a rooftop balcony in a neighborhood like this, I don't think is quite appropriate. I would suggest that has to be eliminated. I have less problem with the balconies, you know. I think you actually have done a good job of trying to shield them, provide more privacy. I think people are going to be upset because there's a second-story house next to them that's going to cut off their light, but, you know, the code does allow for that. But where there's privacy concerns, obviously you have to address those, and I think that you have reasonably done that. I think having the smaller sized windows, more for light than for egress, really does address that. I concur with reducing that balcony wall with the curved one by the master bathroom. That could be at the top level, like brought down just to balcony height, you know, 42 inches. That would eliminate a big chunk of stucco that's sticking out there and potentially cutting off sunlight from the neighboring property. So Elements of the design, I do think that overall, you've done a good job coming out with a sort of modern Spanishy style. The element that jarred me a little bit was that rooftop thing and how it sort of sits there almost like a tower in the middle, and the bedroom forms and the roof forms are disaggregated from that. So it's not cohesive to me. So I think that if you can eliminate that, pull those rooms back closer to the back of the house, I think that you'll have a big opportunity to restudy how the roof works, the roof forms, maybe even increasing some visible roof forms at the front of the house so that you see more of the Spanish tiles. I have no objection actually to what you've done with that, I believe it's the living room space at that corner where you say, it's the more boxy thing. I actually think that works well. I think the use of all those scuppers is potentially excessive. I'd love to hear other people's opinions on that. I think some is good, but they almost look like, rafter tails, sticking out as opposed to scuppers. And I'm not sure that works as well, but where you do have rafter tails sticking out, I like those details. So maybe there's a way for you to incorporate that somehow, or we can maybe make some alternate suggestions. I think the notion of maybe reducing the head heights, a little bit will help. I'm usually less concerned about that. It's more about the boxiness of the massing that is my concern. So I think that if there's a compromise to be had, I think it's let them have height, but push that second floor way further back. So those are my thoughts. I do concur with staff's conditions. I also have to say I concur with the return for redesign here. I think the changes needed here are fairly significant, and we really need to have it re-reviewed. So those are my thoughts. Thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Rush. Board Member Cascada.
Thank you. Thank you, everyone, for coming today. I love when we have cases like this and neighborhoods come together. I know, there's disagreements and agreements, but that's the great thing about America. We all have the right to say whatever we'd like, right? So that being said, I also think it's the homeowner's right to build, their dream home. The American dream, we all contribute to it, and that's their contribution. They want to have the white picket fence out in the front, whatever they need to do to build this lovely home. And I'm very sorry for for your guys' home and of it burning down. Definitely not a fun thing to go through. But that being said, as our board members did say, we can't tell the applicants that they can't build a second story. That's against code, and it's something that we're not able to do. And if zoning allows it, it allows it. But what we can do is mitigate some of those things, ensure that there is, the privacy as what we've been seeing. I think the applicant has done a great job. I do want to say that I do like the Spanish style, the modern Spanish style that you guys went with. Fits the neighborhood in the sense that it is, Spanish style. I appreciate the pomegranate trees that you guys were planning on also putting into the backyard. You guys have also put, I think, on the side, I know a lot of neighbors, as the board member is saying, when we build a second-story house, of course, the neighbors next door to you are going to be somewhat worried. But I think you've done a great job with including those privacy windows. I know it's a requirement that we do have those windows, and I appreciate you putting that together. But there are, other things that we can work on. I feel as though the hedges on the sides, I thought, I don't know if the ones that was in the rent or the ones that was in the photo, did that burn down? The one that was like the tall shrub, did those burn down? No, those didn't burn down? Okay. So I think having those, especially on the side wherever the neighbors are, maybe taller hedges, could be something that I would highly recommend you guys look into doing, especially in areas where, the neighbors are and they could see through. I think it would help with that. I also, but I do agree with staff's recommendations on return for redesign. I do think that I think the arches, when I look at it, the arches itself, it kind of gives a little bit more of a height to us. It makes the house look a little bit more boxier. There's like a vertical emphasis in the house whenever I look at it. But I do think that, as Board Member Welsh did say, maybe bringing back the second floor a little bit back could help in this case. There are hundreds of cases that we see that are similar to this design, where we've gone back to redesign, and of course, coming back, I think we've seen a lot better, and I think the neighbors have appreciated as well. So I do agree with Board Member Welsh on the second floor coming back. I still think there are some excess lighting on the sides too that you could potentially have, like the hooded down scone lights, especially ones that you have next to your neighbors, so you don't want that light to be beaming into their neighborhood, their neighbors. I know Board Member Welsh, you said about the balcony. I know there potentially a recommendation could be maybe like Juliet balconies for some of them, if it's something that you guys would be interested in, especially ones on the sides where your neighbors are. And yeah, so that's pretty much it. I support or whatever staff's recommendations were. I think that was all good. But overall, yeah, I know it's been 3 years, but we're almost there. I think you guys can get there on the next time it comes around. And yeah, thank you.
Thank you, Board Member Kaskanian. Let me start off by saying I do sympathize, you losing your home to a fire, and I know what it takes to get to this level, after 3.5 years. I do sympathize, and I appreciate you guys actually trying to rebuild in Glendale. So, however, with that said, I do also understand the neighbors' concerns in terms of privacy and scale. So, and I do see an opportunity here to scale it down, shift the mass in a way that it will blend in better with the neighborhood. I think both Board Member Lockroff and Board Member Welsh did mention how to do those. I don't want to reiterate it. They did a very nice job how to shift in the mass in the back. You have a lot of covered patios. You can incorporate these, put the mass on top of those, perhaps on the second floor, pushing those back, and potentially eliminating that rooftop deck. I do agree that it does not fit the neighborhood. I also want to discuss with the board members possibly eliminating the west elevation balcony, the one that leads from the master bathroom. I still don't see the purpose of it, especially trying to cover it by a larger wall to give more privacy. The master bedroom already has a very large scale balcony, so adding another balcony to the master bathroom is just I don't know. It seems, especially coupled those with the lot of windows that master bathroom has. You get all the natural light. I just don't understand why there's need to be a balcony there. So potentially we can eliminate that. Another item, floor to ceiling heights, finished floor to ceiling, both on first and second floor are 10 foot. Possibly reducing it to 9 feet helps the cause, and you will, as an owner, you will feel better. You will feel more comfortable in a 9-foot ceiling versus 10, and that's from experience. So, as far as architectural elements, let's define this as more Spanish, not Spanish contemporary. Let's just push that for Spanish look. I think you've done a very nice job, but let's just push it on that, bump, if you will, to make it a Spanish look. I do love the design. If we address these scale and privacy issues, I think we will get you into the house sooner than later. So those are my thoughts, and with that.
Well, I concur. If you feel strongly about that balcony off the master bathroom, I think that would be a good opportunity to create more roof, tiles, and that would help on that side of the house. So I would be okay with.
I agree, particularly because light was so impacted for the neighbor, and that's the main reason. I think that wall is a challenge, and I agree about the roof deck and lighting.
Definitely.
Definitely the lighting. From the renderings, there's quite a few lights on there, so. uh, I don't know if we need to get specific in our reduction, but when the applicant comes back, it would be nice to see a lighting plan to really understand it better.
I think staff's condition about lighting was already
Sufficient.
pretty much
Yeah.
covering what we needed here,
Okay.
so. So I think from what I'm hearing, the only real major change we would have would be definitely calling out for elimination of the roof deck.
Correct.
And for elimination of the one balcony off of the master bathroom.
Bathroom on the west elevation.
Yes. Otherwise, I think the staff's conditions appropriately captured everything that we'd said. Would staff agree with that?
Yes, what I'm hearing, Mr. Chair, board members, that you would like to keep all 10 conditions. That's outlined in the staff report, and we will be working with the applicant on some of the details on how to address those concerns, definitely. And if the decision is returned for redesign, we will work with the applicant on the details.
And there was one minor thing, was the scuppers that you had mentioned, and I for me, it's not, I agree, but it wouldn't prohibit the design from being built, in my
It's
opinion.
for
Yeah,
consideration.
Yeah, consideration, yeah. So consideration on the reduction of the number of scuppers on the deck, yeah.
So with that said, with the staff's conditions, as well as the 2 additional conditions that we added and the consideration for restudying the scuppers, I'd like to move the project for a return for redesign.
I'll second.
I'll go ahead and take a roll call vote. Commissioner Lockeroff,
Yes.
Board Member Kaskanian,
Yes.
Board Member Welch,
Yes.
Chair Halajian.
Yes.
The motion carries 4-0.
Thank you very much.
Good luck.
Luck. Thank you. Good luck.
Good luck.
I'll.
Okay.
Thank you, bye.
Thank you.
I have to call you. I'll have to bet on him, Kezi.
Please.
So I'll call you tomorrow.
Yalla.
Chair Halajian, do you want to take a little quick recess before we get started on the next item? Let the room clear, or should we just? Okay, very good. I'm gonna run to the restroom for.
No, 30 years. Okay. Maybe I'll see you guys around. Okay. I'm Jim, this is Carla, and last name is Karen. And, yeah, this is not an easy job. Have you been on it for a while? 4 years now. I'm sorry you're going, because I think you're a nice, balanced guy.
Well, I'll see you guys around the neighborhood.
Yeah.
Thank you all.
Okay.
Have a good night, everyone.
Bye.
A quick recess.
2 minutes.
2 minutes.
Okay, let's try that again. It's 6:42. We're calling the DRB meeting back to order. I want to note that board member Kaskanian has left. He has a conflict of interest and has to recuse himself from the following item because he lives in near proximity of the site. So he has left the meeting. We have 3 board members, so we have quorum, and we will move on to the next item. Design review case number PDR 006093-2025 for the property address 1829 Kirkby Road. My name is Nick Clotti. I'm a senior planner, and I'll go ahead and do a staff presentation before entertaining board questions, applicant, and public comment. The subject site is located on the east side of North Verdugo Road, on the north side of Kirkby Road in the Verdugo Woodlands neighborhood. So, the screen lets you know where it is in the city of Glendale. Zooming in a little bit closer, you can see that Kirkby Road, 1829 Kirkby, is a large lot. It has almost 16,000 square feet of area, and it has sort of a very irregular shape with 2 frontages on Kirkby Road. So zooming in on the right-hand side of your screen, for the purposes of this meeting, we'll call this part the portion Lower Kirkby Road. Currently, there is an existing drive approach and paved area off the lower side of Kirkby Road, and then Upper Kirkby Road. And then this property right here is its own property developed with a single-family home. So again, we have sort of 2 frontages on a public street for this large, irregularly shaped lot. It's currently developed with 2 residential structures, a single-family residence that was built in 1911 that is now considered an accessory living quarter, and then a second home, which is considered the primary single-family residence on this property, was built in 1924. So you can see these 2 small structures. They're located a little bit uphill from the street near the center of the lot. Again, here is looking at the site from, say, Lower Kirkby Road. These are the story poles that have been installed for about 6 weeks. And then as you go further east up Kirkby Road, you can see where there's a split to the Upper Kirkby Road. And on the right-hand side of your screen, this is a private road that provides vehicular access to properties further up Kirkby Road. So here is our existing site plan, now that you have a little bit of context. And I think that this topo map really paints a good picture of existing site conditions. So there's an average current slope of 30%. The green areas are pretty much the flat areas of the site, whereas the blue areas have a slope and the purple areas have a steep slope. So it is a sloping site with existing flat areas, and the project site planning is responsive to these existing site conditions. Before I describe the proposed project, I want to back up and give a little bit of property history. The project that's being proposed here is substantially similar to a project that was reviewed and approved by the Design Review Board and the City Council in 2018, but it was never built. In May, the DRB approved a new 2-story, 4,114 square foot single-family residence with an attached 3-car garage. That approval was appealed to City Council. In October 2018, the City Council heard the appeal and upheld this Design Review Board's decision. As part of that review, and I'll touch upon this a little bit later in my presentation, there was an initial study that was prepared. Ultimately, there was a mitigated negative declaration that was adopted by the board and by City Council. And based on the initial study, there were 3 environmental areas that were studied as part of that MND: geological conditions, potential historic resources, and biological resources. And that MND had 2 mitigation measures that essentially were to comply with the indigenous tree ordinance, the same one that applies now, and obtain an indigenous tree permit. So, again, the project that we're looking at today is very much a closely similar project to what was approved in 2018, and I'll describe the relevance of this MND as I describe the CEQA for the project. So, here is what is being proposed. So you see the 2-story home located near the center of the site, an attached 3-car garage on the north end of the building with access via Upper Kirkby Road, where there's already this sort of flat graded area that sort of serves as an informal driveway for the existing property. I'll go ahead and share the rendering so you can see how this is a 2-story home that steps up the lot through its first and second levels. I'll kind of take you around the project before I walk you through the floor plans and the site plan, and you can sort of see how the site interacts with the project interacts with the sloping site. So front porch, stairs leading up to a recessed entry and a generous front porch. The first floor is 2,695 square feet. Second floor is smaller at 1,876 square feet, and that 3-car garage is just under 700 square feet. So this is kind of from Kirkby looking up at the project, and this is from the upper part of the site, sort of looking down on the house towards Kirkby Road. And you can see the first level, and then the second level, and then sort of the terracing effect of the outdoor living areas that are shown on the site plan. In terms of the first floor, you can see how the front entrance is accessed via those stairs. In blue, you have the outdoor areas adjacent to the first floor, so that covered porch. You have a deck here on the side that's accessible via sliding doors from the family room, and then a deck off of the kitchen that you saw in that previous rendering. If we move up to the second floor, you see how the outline of the first floor and the first floor roof is below. 2 balconies accessible off bedrooms, and then a balcony above that patio at the rear. You see how the 3-car garage provides access to the second floor because it's up on a higher level, and then we see that deck area below. Here's our roof plan. It's a hipped roof with a consistent 3-2 pitch across the project, providing for a pretty gentle slope and an unobtrusive roof form with plenty of valleys and ridges to maintain visual interest. And here we are looking at the front elevation. I'll touch upon some of the materials. We have sort of an organic stone veneer across the base of the porch and at the base of the first floor. Horizontal hardy siding wrapping the most visible portions of the home and sort of terminating where there are breaks in the volume, and a lighter stucco color used for other portions of the home and for these balconies. This is looking at it from the south. So again, you can see how the stairs provide access to the first level. You have a sort of a covered deck area accessible from the first floor, exterior stairs that lead up to a pool deck behind this corner of the house. And here we are looking at the other side, again, the driveway, about an 80-foot long driveway providing access to this attached garage, the deck area from the first floor, exterior stairs that provide access between the two, and again, the terracing effect with the slope of the site. And this is just the very rear of the site where the home appears as a 1-story volume, given that it's sort of tucked into the building. I did walk through the materials, windows, fixed and hung windows proposed throughout, fiberglass windows installed with a recess into the building wall, flat wood siding, a wooden sill, which is appropriate for the style, which takes some cues from sort of a craftsman architectural style. Let's say the last version was a little bit more craftsman in its flavor, but this employs sort of similar approaches, recessed windows, wood trim, stone accent feature, stone decal, and recessed windows with hung operations throughout. I want to show this section drawing, which again gives a good view at how the home is built into the hillside and how it goes from its first level to its second level. I didn't call it the maximum height. It's 32 feet 4 inches, and that's really measured from the base of these stairs all the way up to the top of the roof for the 2-story home. There are a number of protected indigenous oak trees on the site, and within 20 feet, there are a total of 13. There was an indigenous tree report that was prepared. It was submitted as part of your packet. It's been vetted by Urban Forestry. So I want to show, again, 13 trees across the site. There are 2 that are just outside of the subject property. Right here, number 1 and number 2, and 4 trees that are proposed to be removed because they are located within the footprint of the proposed building. So 85, and these were all documented in the tree report. 86, again, you can see these are trees with sort of leaning trunks. 87, and then 88, a tree that is already lying on the ground and doesn't appear to be alive anymore based on the information in the report. The applicant will need to plant mitigation plantings for replacement indigenous trees. You can see the landscape plan here. So, in terms of opportunities for landscaping, it's really sort of around the edges of the outdoor areas. The front yard area has these sort of characteristic river rock low walls that would be maintained where they're not in the way of the building footprint, and new planting would be placed, creating an attractive sort of front yard appearance. This version of the landscape plan shows 3 replacement 36-inch box oak trees. There is a condition of approval to clarify exactly where all 4 replacement trees are going to be located. I'll let the applicant speak to that. And then the existing driveway area is going to be removed. The drive approach will need to be closed and a curb installed, and there's going to be landscaping installed in that area that currently has paving. The staff report sets forth findings in terms of site planning, mass and scale, and design and detailing. Again, staff finds that the project site planning appropriately responds to the site's conditions, those street frontages, the irregular shape, upsloping geography, oak trees, and river rock walls. It's sited at the middle of the site, partially nested into the slope, which minimizes not only the appearance of excessive mass, but also allows the other oak trees to remain on the site. And the garage is oriented towards the rear side and rear of the site, avoiding a dominant garage appearance. In terms of mass and scale, it is the second largest home in the survey area. There's a pretty large 3-story home just across the street with frontage on Verdugo Vista. So again, it's the largest lot. It's almost 16,000 square feet. The project does push up against the maximum allowable FAR, but it is within the maximal allowed. This project does meet zoning code. And then in terms of design and detailing, it applies a consistent approach, again, using consistent window operations, fiberglass windows, hardyboard siding, and stone veneer as appropriate, transitioning to stucco to the less visible portions of the property. Your staff report finds that this project is exempt from CEQA based on the Class 3 exemption for the construction of a new single-family home in a residential zone in an urbanized area. None of the exceptions to the categorical exemption apply without new information or substantial changes to site conditions. So the MND, again, evaluated 3 areas in terms of geological conditions. They found there were no significant impacts. There was an update to the geotech report submitted in 2020. The findings of the M&D can be found to still apply. In 2017, a historic resource assessment report was prepared for the existing structures, which are old, but they were not deemed to rise to the level of being deemed to be recognized and placed on either local, state, national historic register. And then finally, in terms of biological resources, the old MND found that there would be less than significant impacts with mitigation measures, namely complying with the indigenous tree ordinance and getting an indigenous tree permit and doing the replacement plantings. So again, for the current project, staff finds that the CEQA is exempt from further CEQA review based on the Class 3 exemption with the information that we have from the previous MND. Staff's recommendation is to approve the project with conditions. The conditions are to revise the drawing to show gutters, downspouts, lighting fixtures, some specific requirements in terms of lighting, to adhere to all the recommendations made by the Urban Forestry Department, made in their RFC comments and in subsequent correspondence with me and the applicant, and to revise the site plan and landscape plan to be consistent, specifically regarding the replacement of the 4 replacement oak trees. From the publishing of the public of the notice, we did receive one public comment. They pointed out that the site was not posted according to code, so we reposted the site. That was originally for May 25th. We didn't have a quorum on June 11th, so here we are today. So that was the only public comment that I received from the publishing of the agenda. And with that, I'll conclude my presentation and answer any questions from the board.
Thank you very much. Any questions? No. Thank you. Would like to invite the applicant. I believe it's the project architect, Nareg. I'm sorry, I can't. Okay. If you can please state your name for the record.
Good evening, board. My name is Nareg Kodadadi. I am the project applicant / project designer. I believe planner Nick went through the project pretty well. This came in front of the board, I think, a few years ago, and the previous buyer sold, and new buyer a couple of years ago hired me to take this project, from paper to build. And as far as the oak trees, we are adding 4 new ones on pretty much where the lower and upper Kirkby meet, and there's a single family right there, so we are gonna add 4 in that location, just so we can get a little bit more privacy. No rooftop deck on this one. So.
Sorry. Oh. Okay.
And yeah, if you have any more questions, I'm here.
Were you the architect on the original design submitted in
No,
2018?
I was not.
No? So you basically took what was done and then did some revisions for
We did some
us?
revisions, and yeah, and then came back to the board.
Okay. It seems like you listened to that board meeting and, followed the conditions.
We did, yeah.
Yeah, okay.
Exactly. And me and Nick, we worked a lot together, so it
Okay.
came out pretty good.
Questions? Any additional questions? Well,
The smallest question, just on a 3.5, do you mind pulling it up really? It went through there.
I'm sorry, one moment. Let me just get the actual plans I just opened up. One more time.
At
One more
a
time.
3.5.
Okay.
There it is. It's really a minor detail, but at the lower right-hand corner, there where there's siding along that face, did you consider returning it into the house at that point, or design-wise, did you have a reason to not?
No, it's an open option. We can
Okay,
return it.
just so
yeah.
minor, but
Yeah.
that was my only question. Thank you.
thank you very much. I appreciate it. Next speaker card is Jim Cohen.
I'll get there eventually.
If you can please state your name. Yeah.
Where to begin? My wife and I found this, actually, she found it. We were living at the beach, and her parents are in the neighborhood, and she asked if I wanted to come up for dinner one day and look at the house she bought. And I said, did you look at a nice house? He said, no, we're in escrow. And we thought you might want to see it before, we need your signature to close escrow. So that was 30-some years ago. There's 3 areas I'd like to cover: the size issue, and the safety issue is primary, and the other stuff is not important. But in listening to the prior property, Upper Kirkby, which is a name that was invented by the residents, so they could differentiate the straight, one side only parking from Upper Kirkby is a fire lane. And there is actually no off-street parking. There's a place you can park and maybe not get cited, but there is absolutely not one legal parking spot on Upper Kirkby. And I can show you where the one is, if you want to pull that map back up. I really want to concentrate on the safety issue. As you go from Lower Kirkby to Upper Kirkby, it's a very blind, there was a picture of it, it's very blind. You have, at one point, 30 feet of visibility for cars and trucks coming down. That's a picture, by the way, on the left-hand side of where the curb cut is and where the mailbox used to be. They picked up the mailbox once and moved it to Upper Kirkby. And that's not that long ago. And this is where the garage and the parking and whatever we think was supposed to be. The picture on the right, as you can see where it changes there by Sandy's, I think she's got the smallest house on the street. The 10 houses on Upper Kirkby total about 11,000 square feet. And this new project increases if it's Lower Kirkby, it's that one lower area. If it's Upper Kirkby, it increases the density enormously. And one of the reasons I think you don't see more of the neighbors here is we've been through this 8 years ago, and they approved it. The 10 Upper Kirkby residents signed petitions, appealed it, on and on and on. And it was approved anyhow. It was approved by the Design Review Board. It was approved by the City Council. And what it wasn't approved by was a buyer for the property. They tried to market it with the plans attached. And, here's this beautiful street, and here's the plans, and we're approved. All you need to do is buy it, and we'll build it for you. And when they couldn't find a buyer, they abandoned the project. And here we are 8 years later, trying to build a bigger house that 9 out of 10 of the neighbors on Upper Kirkby didn't want. And now we're trying to build a bigger house, again, with the safety issue of coming around that blind corner. If they were here today, I think most of the neighbors would vote, okay, if you want to build an oversized house on this wonderful street, please do that, but please don't endanger all the people that live upstream from you and have to come down that one blind corner. And then when you're backing out of your driveway, you're going to have almost 150 feet to another blind curve. So I don't know that, I think you could probably turn a car around on the upper flat area.
Just that noise, it's what it indicates you have 30 more seconds, sir. So if you want to gather
Okay.
your thoughts and.
Okay. But if there's any other cars parked there, then you won't have a maneuvering room to pull out frontward. So you're backing into traffic that can't see you, and then you're going to go around a blind corner. And I'd encourage you to look at the paperwork from the 8 years ago and see the comments, and people were very afraid. They stopped walking down there and so on. But if you have any questions, I have the paperwork from
Sure. Thank you.
that time.
Thank you. Next speaker I have is Linda. There you go. If you can.
Good evening.
Good evening. If you can please state your name as well.
My name is Linda Touton. I live at 1900 Kirkby Road. I live on the private side of the road. I have it's just some excerpts from your reports that the staff, I guess you call them? Sorry.
Yes.
But I wanted to just focus on the attachments. I just have 3 points. I believe that the house is out of proportion to the neighborhood. It's 4,114 feet plus a garage, bringing it to 4,700 plus square feet. If you look at my Exhibit A, the first document, which I took out of the neighborhood survey, I've gone ahead and written the square footages of the various properties on it for you so you can see. The properties that touch the subject proposed property range from 771 feet to 2,400 square feet. Those 5 properties average let's see, what is it? The 5 that touch, they average, sorry, I have it here somewhere, my math problem, 1,400 square feet. So the project is 3 times the average house that is around it. And it is almost 6 to 7 times bigger than Sandy's house, the small, and that's not even the smallest house next to it. So we're talking about a pretty large project here. And from what I can read, it's 18-foot setback is all. And so I have a problem with the proportion. The second is that I believe that the neighborhood information is misleading, if not incorrect. This is the second document. And it includes a 60,000 square foot apartment building on Verdugo Road as part of its average square foot of the neighborhood. And from there then says the average square foot of the houses on the street is 4,500. But if you take out the 60,000 square foot apartment building that is not on our street, the average size comes down, you'll see my calculation at the bottom, to 1,700 square feet. That's more in line, and that's in keeping with the big giant house across the street, which is my third point. There is, and you can look at the third page of my attachment, a beautiful 1929 English cottage house, which I call the Sound of Music House. It's not on Kirkby Road. It is on Verdugo Vista. They have a street-to-street lot. It's probably the original house from the neighborhood. The only thing on Kirkby Road is their 2-car garage, and it is set back 50 feet. So if you take a drive over there or look at it, the neighborhood is bungalows, and they're all, you know, the biggest one is this, but it's a very unusual one. And the average house is 1,400 to 1,700 square feet. And so I think the project is unusually large. And I think that the calculations, including the staff report, it was at page 3 where they have the average house size and so forth, that 4,500 square feet is wrong. And so the 4,700 square feet doesn't really jive. I think that your 2018 approval may have been based on those incorrect presumptions from the get-go. So those are my points. I think that the project is oversized. I understand you have to take oak trees out. I get it. We have a lot of oak trees over there, but it is a bungalow neighborhood, and I encourage you to scale it back a little bit.
Thank you. Thank you. Next speaker, Artin Boskanyan.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Artem Voskanyan. I'm a resident of Glendale, California for 32 years. And I don't live in the neighborhood, but my grandma lives on the corner of Kirby and Verdugo at 1636 North Verdugo Road. And I visit her probably like twice a week. And sometimes me and my daughter go out and we walk in the neighborhood and look around in the neighborhood. And we came across the project, and I saw the project and I saw the property, and I saw that we have a hearing date today. And there has been sometimes I've met the homeowner actually, and he showed me the property, that the project that he's trying to build there. And I'm here to fully support him, and I'd like to see a project there and on a property like that. He gave me a walk around. We got to know each other. We talked to each other, and he gave me a walk around, and it's a nice property. And I'd like to see a home like that on that property, the nice structure on that property, because it has a lot of potential. And as of now, in Glendale, you can't find any properties that big if you look around, besides like Kenner Road and stuff. So it's a nice property, and I'd like to see that house sooner or later be done. And that's it. Thank you so much for everything.
Thank you, Art. Next speaker card is Philip. If you can please state your name.
Yes, hi, my name is Philip Ungehauer. I live with my partner at 1825 Kirkby Road. It's actually on this map on the left-hand side of the property. That long building is my house. I think the small structure is the garage. I have lived to a vacant lot. I bought the property in 2017, and up until now, I've been living to a vacant lot that is has two wooden structures on it, the very small structures, and I'm here because I believe that Armin's approval and his application should be approved. I would like to explain why, because I will receive most of the construction, all of the pool, everything that his house is building on is towards my property. So I will be impacted by what he's building on that. And I will tell you why I've had a bit of a change of heart over the past few years. I moved in, the lot was empty, and I was kind of happy that it was empty. But over time, I've realized that having a lot next door that is empty doesn't necessarily mean it's neutral. It has actually consequences. In October of 2022, I walked into my house. There were two burglars in the house that had ransacked my house, and they had used that property next door as a sort of staging ground for their operation. I, since 2017, have lived there. 9 years later, the lot is still pretty much exactly the way it was when I moved in. The lot has sat idle, but it's not because there was an indifference to it. There was, as was previously mentioned by the other neighbors, there was another owner that wanted to build on the lot. That never happened. I have met the new owner of the property. I can't speak to the technical details and to the design board. Obviously, that's your job, but I can speak to him as a person and as a neighbor. He introduced himself. He's been extremely considerate. He's been a good communicator. It showed me his plans, asked if I had any problems with it, if I had any problems with the ficus hedge that he has planted along the property walls. He's also talked to my partner, DJ. So I find those things very considerate, and I want him to be able to build the house that he wants to build. I can't speak to the dimensions of the house. I can't speak to certain design elements of it, but I'm very much in favor of it, and I would love for him to be able to build on that property. And for me, it would make a huge difference to not have this vacant, empty lot, but to actually have life there, to have a family living there, and to not invite further potential wrongdoing through that property of, riffraff. Thank you so much.
Thank you. I just received one more speaker card. Carla, would you like to? Yeah.
My name is Carla Cohen, and I am a third-generation Glendale person, and I live at 1851 Kirkby. We've lived in our house over 30 years, and Lower Kirkby and Upper Kirkby are quite different animals. And I know I have a funny voice. But Upper Kirkby is rather rural feeling, and we have deer that walk down and skunks and children, and it's a fire lane. There's no parking. It's very different. And my husband was trying to explain when they come out of what is supposed to be their driveway and come down, there's a blind curve that way. They're going by two different people's houses where their cars are parked right there, and they have been run into several times backing out of that. Then they're curving around, and going down around Sandy's house into another curve. And just today, when we were coming home from an errand, somebody's coming down, you have to back up. And so and there's a big oak tree that's gorgeous that's hanging over the road, and it's very awkward there. And I'm afraid with a big house, and I do think that some of the size should be removed, and it should be smaller, fitting with the neighborhood. But that's going to be very dangerous. They're going to have cars and company, which is wonderful, but it's dangerous coming that way. If some way they could do where their original driveway was, which is on Lower Kirkby, where the cutout is, and have the garage down there, then they're not doing that double curve, and they're doing where it's bigger road and more accessible to backing up and moving. There's never, ever any parking on Lower Kirkby either, and you have to get permits to park on that. There's only on one side. It's a very, very unusual and charming street, and we'd like to keep it that way. And I think some of the size needs to be reduced, and that garage needs to be better thought out, so it's not a safety issue.
Thank you, Carla. By the way, you have a beautiful voice, so it's, yeah. So, Nick, do we have any callers?
We do not have any callers, Chair.
Thank you. At this point, let's close the public hearing and let's dive into the deliberation. So, I apologize. Good point. Thank you. You have the opportunity to rebuttal. So, thank you.
The existing driveway is on that upper Kirkby area, so we kept that same location. If anything, we made the driveway kind of deeper and wider, so we can get maybe more parking on the driveway and less, anywhere on the street. Obviously, it's been there for a long time, so that's why we kept it the same location. As far as the size of the house, obviously, lot size is 16,000. I think as far as ratio, I think we're okay zoning-wise. Our footprint, since it's a two-story house, I'm at 3395. So that's the first floor and the garage, not counting the second floor. So that's my footprint. 1900 Kirkby is at 2500 plus 400 or 500 for the garage, so 3,000 footprint. So we're not that off as far as footprints, what sits on the lot. I know we have a second floor, but again, it's not that huge. But it's just, seems big.
The question that I have for you, Narek, if I may, so you're reconfiguring the driveway and making it larger, correct? What's the existing size of the driveway right now, the square footage? I know you're showing the driveway, new square footage is approximately 1,861.
Of the...
I'm sorry, is that the existing or is that the new?
I think that's the new.
New. What's the, are you keeping that size or are you making
We are
it
keeping, yeah.
You are keeping it, okay. And as far as the setbacks, having this unique lot, where you have two frontages, what's the, you have 10 and a half, is that the I guess, shortest setback?
Yeah, which is...
Right, I think from the adjacent property, is that?
Oh, that one? Yeah, toward the stairs area.
And then from the Kirby Road.
I think I'm at 27 or...
20, is that, where it says on the slope, it's 29. And I'm trying to, I can't zoom in, what's that, 27? Is there another slope there, perhaps?
No,
is
I
it
think
at the
it
covered
is
porch area, or?
27 to the face of the first floor.
First floor,
Yeah.
okay. Okay.
Okay. That was it.
Did you consider using the the lower parking space at all?
We did, yeah, but I think planning was against it.
It would probably have had to have been detached
Right, it would
in that
have been
location.
detached and then maybe more grading, cut into the earth, yeah.
Okay.
Back here, I don't want you to trip on this.
Oh, yeah.
If I may just provide a little bit of context on that question, I believe that originally the proposal had a garage closer to Lower Kirkby. It ended up making it a 3-story building, which wasn't allowed. And I think that in response to staff feedback and consistency with the guidelines, there was a move to move the garage up to avoid having a big garage kind of being the first thing you see as you come up the street, and instead try to promote sort of that terracing effect. Also regarding the existing driveway, in the previous review, there were some board comments to widen the driveway to allow for vehicles to be able to make a turnaround and come out of that long driveway going forwards, rather than having to do the long back out from the location of the driveway. Just to provide a little bit of detail from the past review and how these issues were discussed in the past.
Okay, thank you.
I think the house right next door to us, which is towards the right, I think the owner has talked to him and he's okay with it, the location of the driveway, so I think he would be the most affected. I think they have some sort of understanding how to back up and how to pull in.
Okay. All right. Any other questions?
No.
Thank you.
Thank you.
I'm sorry, sir. I can't anymore. So I apologize.
It was never a driveway. It was
Sir, I understand. I understand. So I would like to go ahead and close the public hearing and go into deliberation. Board Member West, would you like to start?
Thank you, Mr. Chair. Generally speaking, I support the project. I think that it is quite large, and I think that there's ample opportunities to shrink it down some if you wanted to and still have the same program available. But that said, I don't think I really have much grounds to do that, because I think from a design perspective, you've really worked well. You took all of the comments from the 2018 Design Review Board case and incorporated them into the design. You've got good detailings that definitely carries off as a modernistic craftsman-style home, which is very much in keeping with the neighborhood. The way the massing has been broken up, it works very well to make it feel smaller than the massive home that it is. So I think that that's, kudos to you on that. In particular, having, the full run of the roof at the front there, and separating that second story, sort of open foyer space pulled back. So you're entering the house with a lower floor that then opens up into a higher space, is actually a very good design feature. So, and it eliminates any possibility of thinking that it's a massive, monumental kind of an entryway. I think it's appropriately scaled for a craftsman-style home. The details with the stone cladding, the tapered columns, rafter tails minimally at the front gable end, I think are all well done. I'll make a personal recommendation to you that there's a long walk from the garage down to the kitchen, so you might consider a dumbwaiter of some kind in that closet space on the second floor to go down into your pantry, because otherwise that's a long way to walk carrying grocery bags. I concur with staff and with the applicant in terms of the site planning and the location of the garage where it is. It may not have been the original driveway of the house, but I believe it has certainly been used as that, and it is a de facto garage and driveway entrance to the house. And I think that's from an overall design and neighborhood blending perspective, it's way better to have it way set back from any street facade, to have those garage doors and to have a large driveway like that, that's essentially already paved, so you're not talking about any new grading for that. It's basically keeping existing conditions intact, maybe stretching it a little bit to have a turnaround, so it would address safety issues. And I just think from a site planning perspective, it is the appropriate choice. So I support that. And aside from that, I really don't have a lot to add. I support the project. I think that it is a little large, but I don't think that it's comes across as that. It's a very large parcel of land. It's pulled back and stepped away from the street. The design itself follows the topography of the site. So I think that they've actually done a good job, and I think that it is worthy of getting the support of the board alongside staff's conditions that they laid out, which were pretty minimal. So that's it. Thank you.
Okay. Thank you, Board Member Welch. I concur. I think that it's surprising. It's kind of the opposite of the last project we just saw, where there's large footprint and square footage. But I went by the site and I did see the story poles, and somehow it's kind of nestled in there, and it didn't seem as large as it is. And also in terms of the design, it's nicely broken up, and it gives a nod to the craftsman style in the neighborhood, but also is honestly, newer and modern in another way. And I think the design's nicely done. Let's see, I think the garage entrance, I concur. It seems better off of the other side, because all the vegetation then blocks the view of the home. It makes it seem smaller and fit in better with the neighborhood. Yeah, no, I think that's it. I think overall I support the project. I would consider that small bit of siding returning on that one corner I mentioned, but it's a consideration. It won't make or break the project. But I would say I would also have a consideration for reduction in size. I think just a slight one, but yeah, that's all my
Thank you,
comments.
Board
Thank you.
Member. Thank you, Board Member Lackroff. I concur with my colleagues. Yes, it is a large house. There's an opportunity to scale it down. However, from planning and zoning standpoint, you are allowed to go to that square footage. So, and it's nestled, as Board Member Lackroff said, in the back of the property, so it kind of hides it away from the street, especially having two frontages here. It hides it pretty well. But nonetheless, that's the applicant's choice whether they want to downsize it, but they do meet the FAR requirements. As far as whether it's the garages, yeah, it's appropriately located. It's a 3-car garage with a lot of existing driveway that they can park on the driveway as well. So that takes away from people parking on the streets, even though probably most of the street is not allowed to park anyway. So that's a good luxury to have. So the architectural elements are nicely done. I love siding. I love the siding, horizontal siding look. It's beautiful. It blends in with, even though it's a bungalow style homes, I think this is the closest that's going to get blended with the neighborhood. So overall, I support the project. I think it's nicely done. So with that, I conclude. Thank you.
I propose to approve the projects with the conditions laid forward by staff, including those by Urban Forestry. We didn't have any new conditions, correct? It may be the consideration.
No, we can do the consideration. No, I think that there was consensus on that.
Right, consideration for a reduction in size.
Okay, I hear you loud and clear. Thank you.
Great.
I'll second it.
Okay. Motion by Board Member Lackroff, second by Board Member Welch. We'll do a roll call vote. We'll start with Board Member Welch.
Yes.
Board Member Lackroff.
Yes.
Chair Halajian?
Yes.
The motion carries 3-0. As noted at the beginning of the meeting, there are 15 days from the date of this meeting to submit an appeal. That gets through all of our new business tonight. I think with that, we can adjourn the meeting.
Adjourn.
Thank you.
Very good.
Adjourn.
Thanks very much.
Thank you.
Thank you.